conversations going on. As you can see, that is Gino Borsoi, Prima Pramac Racing Team Manager, Fonzi Nieto, rider coach and sporting director at Prima Pramac Racing, and Luca Boscoscuro, team manager at Speed Up, where they have a rider at the moment who is very much in demand. Fermin Aldeguer, fastest again, setting a new lap record this morning. A lot of talk suggesting that VR46 are on his radar, but news overnight dictates that Prima Pramac Racing put an offer in for Fermin Aldeguer for 2025, asking for him to wait a year, before then finding out exactly where to go. Gino Borsoi is just walking past us here. Let's grab a word with Gino if we can very quickly. Just firstly on...
Well, I mean quickly because you are not quickly with me sometimes.
I'm always quick. Firstly, on Jorge, let's talk about how qualifying went.
Well, honestly, better than what we expect, but not enough to be in front first row, which is the best for tomorrow and for this afternoon. But anyway, we were able to close the gap and to make, let's say, a step compared to yesterday and also this morning where we were suffering a lot, especially with the hard tire in front.
It's good to hear. I was going to talk to you about Fermin Aldeguer over there, but he's currently chatting away with Pablo Nieto. So should I go? I think I'm going to leave you to it, and I think I'm going to go and doorstep them because maybe that's more sort of... No. It's more of the moment, shall we say? Because maybe this is the rider team manager lineup that we're going to be seeing in 2024. Let's take a look at this. Fermin Aldeguer with manager Hector Faubel and the Muni VR46 box, Pablo Nieto. We were thinking, is Fermin potentially, given the fact that Luca Boscoscuro is in talks with Prima Pramac Racing, looking to make a move across. Big smiles here, we've caught them. Should we doorstep and say hello? We'll let them chat. We'll let them talk about potentially what's to come in 2024. I'll wait for the conversation to finish before we then jump in and ask the question and find out whether there is any news to share. At the moment, the man in the middle, Hector Faubel, of course, a former Grand Prix rider as well, is awaiting news from the team boss that we just saw over there, Luca Boscoscuro. He needs to give his final confirmation, pretty much, to allow Fermin to make his move up to MotoGP next year. I mean, this is evidence of any. Talks are ongoing. Talks are pretty close as well. A good relationship has already been formed here. Fermin potentially can be the first Spanish rider to move into Valentino Rossi's squad. Of course, they have the Spanish connection there as well with Pablo Nieto as team boss. And they've made no secret of the fact that they would love to have the 18-year-old who, of course, has just won back-to-back Moto2 Grand Prix on their Ducati in 2024 to replace Luca Marini, who, by the way, has just taken pole position. We fully expect that he is going to be on his way to Repsol Honda next year. We'll talk about qualifying in a minute, but for me, this is fascinating to see everything unfolding in the paddock in the way that it has. At first, in a matter of moments, we see Prima Pramac Racing talking to Luca Boscoscuro at length about who knows what, and now we're seeing the rider, rather than the team manager, speaking with the other interested party. We'll come back to that. Let's see if we can grab a word with Didier. He's with his manager here. Didier, always happy to chat away. Fabio, just before you go. Fabio, can I just very quickly, we're live at the moment, but a great morning, or great afternoon, used to say morning, and you must be really confident ahead of the sprint.
Yeah, we've done an amazing job through all the weekend, like I said, also 10 minutes ago.
To me.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm also quite confident because at the end, seems that I'm really fast in all conditions. So now it will come the sprint. It's a good test also for the long distance race. So let's see, but the confidence is building.
I can see that as well. You're smiling, you're enjoying it, you're looking happy. So good luck this afternoon.
Thank you. Ciao, guys.
Great to chat with Fabio, who really is in quite a special moment at this current time. Of course, onto a MotoGP podium for the very first time. What was it now? A couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago at Phillip Island, and has been able to continue on in that form as well. let's see if we can grab a word very quickly with Fermin Aldeguer, just to see. We did earlier grab a word and say, if he could, Fermin, just before you go, can we have a very quick word? How are you? All good?
Yeah, very, very good. Very happy.
Yeah. What was that conversation all about?
Nothing. Only we are friends with Pablo and also he's friend of my manager. Nothing. We talk about the life.
Okay, good to hear. On track at the moment, things are going really well. I think in the last 19 sessions, you've been fastest in 13 of them. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm very happy with my now potential because I feel very, very good with my bike, with myself. This is very positive for the end of the season. And I fight now for the pole position and for the victory tomorrow.
Good luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
Good to chat with Fermin. Not giving too much away, but we wouldn't expect him to, as he trudges off to go and get ready for Moto2 qualifying later. Well, that was interesting. Smiles, big smiles, on the faces of Pablo Nieto, Fermin Aldeguer, Hector Faubel, the three key parties that are all in agreement. Luca Boscoscuro, team boss, who has a contract next year with Fermin, not in those discussions, not right there anyway. But let's see. It's close. Who knows whether it's going to get across the line and whether the Moto2 team boss will allow his rider to move up to MotoGP and be released from his contract a year early, or whether, as we saw, it playing out, unfolding in front of us, as has been rumoured, and that backs it up, whether he will stay with Boscoscuro for 2024 and then potentially move up with Prima Pramac Racing in 2025. There we go. That was certainly interesting. Right. Let's, shall we, walk in this direction and tell you about qualifying that has just taken place in MotoGP. We got sidetracked there. But pole position went the way of Luca Marini, ahead of a pair of Gresini Ducatis. Fabio Di Gianantonio, who we just heard from, second. Alex Marquez, third. And then, fascinatingly, on the second row of the grid, side by side, are our two title contenders. Pecco Bagnaia just getting the better of Jorge Martin, who'll be fifth. And with Marc Marquez, who, again, creating headlines. Davide Tardozzi saying that he is a part of the championship. He's in the championship, so he's got every right to go and get involved in the championship fight, as it were. He was dragged around, towed around to take the final spot on the second row of the grid. But as Fabio was telling us there, just before he went up to get changed, it's going to be, even in the sprint, a race where there's going to be a lot of talk about tyres, a lot of talk about front tyres in particular. It's going to be about managing it, certainly for the Grand Prix tomorrow, but even quite surprisingly for the sprint as well. So it makes it a rather difficult one to predict, especially since they've only had an hour of track time under the lights yesterday. And to make things even more challenging, the track conditions yesterday were pretty dusty. We had a huge thunderstorm on Thursday night that brought quite a lot of dirt onto the track, which meant throughout the course of yesterday, it was primarily about cleaning it and getting it as clean as possible for today, which is why in Moto3, Moto2 and in MotoGP, the guys have improved their lap times quite significantly, which often isn't the case here in Qatar. You often see the riders being a lot quicker once the lights come on rather than during the heat of the day here in the desert. But the track is much improved, which will make decisions tyre-wise a lot more challenging than they already were. One of the flashpoints involved Aprilia with Aleix Espargaro and Franco Morbidelli having, well, more than a coming together. Aleix Espargaro slapping Frankie Morbidelli around the head whilst out on track, which, I mean, is something that you just cannot be doing. As a result, Aleix was called up to the steward's office, unaware as of this present moment whether a penalty has been handed out to Aleix Espargaro, but I think you can expect one to come his way. Massimo Rivolo, we saw during that practice 2 session, the free practice 2 session, coming across and having a very, very stern word with Aleix and pretty much asking, what on earth were you doing? It was real head loss from Aleix, that the red mist came down, and in a session that's untimed, has no impact on the remainder of the weekend. Seems like a very, very silly thing to do. And we can imagine that a penalty may well come his way as a result. Right, so before we leave you, let's firstly have a look at this as we finished on yesterday. Team Pecco versus Team Martin. The fight continues. Who is it going to be? Both on the second row of the grid, which makes things interesting. Work to be done for the pair of them, but other than that, who is going to be able to take victory in the sprint? Let's finish with a little bit of insider info for you, because we're going to have a revised sprint podium. Often it takes place on the start-finish straight, but this time around, like we've seen in Barcelona or Argentina, we're not afraid to change things up and spice things up when we have to, when we'd like to. And that is going to be the case this afternoon as well, because the sprint podium is going to be taking place right here in the middle of this magnificent new paddock. So we'll leave you with the question of who is going to be stood on these positions here. Who'll be taking third in the sprint? Who'll be taking second in the sprint? And who will walk away with the gold medal and be our Tissot sprint winner for the penultimate time in 2023? It's lights out at 8 o'clock local time in around about 3 hours, 3 and a bit hours. So set your alarms. Make sure you set your reminders on your TV chat and get ready to watch the Tissot sprint when it's lights out, where it'll be Luca Marini firing away from pole position. Thanks for joining us in Inside the Paddock. We'll see you for our final 2 episodes next weekend. But what we expect, hope as well, not that we're biased in any way, is a season finale fit for a season that has been full of ups and downs. Team Pecco versus Team Martin. Remember, get the hashtags in, show your support ahead of the sprint this afternoon. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in Valencia.